Hey guys, Jason here from Leavitt Brothers. All right, so yesterday I did a video where I didn't argue for the downside, but I did offer some evidence that history says a downside move is coming. The seasonality, the monthly seasonality, coupled with the presidential cycle, coupled with the decennial cycle, all pointed towards a fairly big drop being in the pipeline coming in September, most likely. The video definitely will lean bearish. So I want to do a counter argument to that. I want to give you reasons why it's possible that the market probably won't drop that much, or if it drops, maybe we get one of those. Maybe it falls a couple days in a row, and all the bears pile in the long panic and sell their positions, and then we hit a certain level and we just go vertical from that. Okay, I think that's on the table. So even if you can make a strong argument that based on seasonality, the market's going to go down, based on breadth being pretty bad, market's going to go down, I'm going to show you some charts here that point towards, or at least tell us to don't get too overly bearish, because there's actually a lot of good looking charts out there. And it's very possible that the market can pull back, these charts can hit a key moving average, and then just simply go up again. Okay, so don't get too bearish is going to be the message of this video, and you'll understand why as we get into these charts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of the biggest companies out there, Apple, Microsoft, etc., and show you how well they're acting, how well they're behaving, how good of shape they're in, the charts, how healthy the charts are. And then you'll maybe second guess how bearish you are and how much you think the market could fall. All right, so let's go through some of these charts. All right, so here's Apple, largest publicly traded company, 2.4 trillion. It's been, it's rolled up and down, as you can see, and right now it's just simply consolidating at all-time highs. There is nothing bearish about a stock that breaks out to a new high, moves sideways in a consolidation pattern, respects lows, respects trend lines, and generally speaking acts fairly well. Nothing bearish about this. Next up, Microsoft. It's done incredibly well. Steady, higher highs, higher lows. Most of the time you can see a consolidation pattern here, which it broke out of, moved up, tested the 50, moved up, tested the 50, and it's just been riding its 21 up since June. And then last week it had back-to-back high volume, as you can see here, high volume days where it just ran crazy and is now at an all-time high. 2.2 trillion is closing the gap on Microsoft, on Apple, I should say. So here's Google. It has also done very well, steady. You can see it moves up here, comes down, tests the 50, moves up here, comes down, tests the 50, moves up, tests the 50, and then it rides its 21 all the way up. Now it's trading, just consolidating at the highs here. This is, if you're a technical trader, this is as good as it gets. It's a solid uptrend, consolidation pattern at the highs within an uptrend. You can argue that the company is so big that its upside is limited. I completely agree with you. It's not going to go 5x like some of the small caps are. But you can't argue that there's anything bearish about this at all. And I talked about it at the beginning that what if the market falls? Well, this is exactly a scenario where like this thing could roll over and everyone gets super bearish, and then it gets gets scooped up by its 50, and then it's off to the races again. Okay, so when you look at Google, it also tells us don't get too bearish because this stock's in great shape. Amazon's not in great shape. It's not in horrible shape. It definitely hasn't kept up with the other big caps. I can just simply argue that it's trading in a range. Okay, broke out over here, tried again, and then fell back into its pattern. Now it's simply unchanged going back to last July and August. So it has not kept up with the other big caps. Facebook doing incredibly well also. Okay, moved up off the March 2020 lows, big consolidation pattern, broke out, steadily trending up, test the 50, tested the 50 last week. Nothing bearish about this stock. It's doing incredibly well. I'm going to skip Tesla because I think it's a unique situation. Berkshire Hathaway, all-time highs here. Stock's done incredibly well off the lows. Now we can say that it is just simply trading in a consolidation pattern within an uptrend at the all-time highs. There's nothing bearish about that. NVIDIA, similar situation, steady uptrend, consolidation pattern for many months, and now it is trading, consolidating for the last couple of months at its all-time high. Nothing bearish about this, respecting the 50, mostly respecting the 50. This stock had back-to-back up days. We're over here on huge volume. Looks like it wants to break out and run. Johnson & Johnson, all-time high. JP Morgan, trading in a range at its all-time high. Nothing overly bearish about this. Yes, we got lower high there. I'm not going to argue that it's super bullish, but it's also not overly bearish yet either. Walmart trading, in consolidation mode. This is the all-time high right there, so it's just simply trading in consolidation mode near its all-time high. Traded in a range here, moved up, volume ramped up, resting near an all-time high. Nothing bearish there. United Health Group last week broke out to a new high. Okay, draw your trend line however you want, but stock moved up, consolidated for a couple months, broke out, all-time high. Procter & Gamble, this is an all-time high. I don't really need to draw trend lines on all these charts. That's the all-time high, so stock went up to an all-time high, big bull pattern. Now, even if it traded here for a couple weeks, that'd be fine. Nothing wrong with this chart overall. Sometimes we zoom in too close and we nitpick every little move day to day, but the reality is the big picture looks very good here. Home Depot, obviously benefiting from housing doing really well. This is all-time high territory. For the stock to trade in a range, we had a false breakout over here, and then it was off to the races. Now we're just trading in a range again. Nothing wrong with this picture here. Bank of America, I'm going to back this up with the monthly chart. Okay, so there's the monthly chart. So, this is the financial crisis. This is the pre-financial crisis high. Stock bottomed over here. It's not doing fantastically well, but again, there's nothing that says this chart is going to roll over. If I zoom in here, let me zoom in with the daily. Okay, nothing wrong here. It's just trading up, consolidation pattern after a pretty big move up. Nothing wrong here. Nothing that says this stock's going to definitely break down. Adobe, off to the races, doing incredibly well. Pfizer, that's a new all-time high. Comcast, that's an all-time high. Nike, that's an all-time high there. Eli Lilly, that's an all-time high. Oracle, that's an all-time high. Coke's all-time high is right there. So as you can see, it hasn't gotten back to its pre-COVID high, but it's making progress. So that's all I'm going to do. I don't want this video to be too long. The point I want to make here is that breadth is bad. Everyone knows that. Okay, if you see that, then you're one of thousands that sees the same thing. Seasonality says we got weakness in the pipeline, but the purpose of this video is just to kind of remind you that these are the largest companies out there, and the 20 or so video charts that I just showed you are bigger market cap than the entire Russell 2000 combined. Okay, so before you get overly bearish, just realize that these stocks are in really good shape. They're trending up. They're in consolidation modes. They're hitting new highs. They're in great shape. Even if the market were to pull back a little bit, a lot of these stocks are going to find support at a previous level, at a key moving average, and probably bounce. Okay, tops take time to form, and a lot of these charts are not even, some of them are starting. They could be forming tops, but a lot of them are literally still trending up. And aren't even in the beginning process of forming a top. Okay, if Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, NVIDIA, Berkshire Hathaway, Johnson & Johnson, if these guys are not even in the beginning stages of forming a top, the market's probably not going to fall too much. Okay, it just isn't. Okay, so it's food for thought. Keep it in mind. I could definitely see a move down here, but I'm not going to get I'm not going to be one of these people who thinks like we're going to have a legit like 20% move. I don't think that's in the pipeline though. These big caps are acting too well for me to believe that we're going to have anything other than just a rank and file pullback. Maybe a basing period, and then we'll see after that. We'll see how they act. Okay, maybe they pull back and then they struggle. Then that needs to be noted. But for now, they're acting too well for me to believe the market is going to completely fall apart. All right, good luck. See you next time.